Hey everybody, today we are in a discussion on emotional consistency, and I want to talk to you today about comparison. You know, comparison is the great confidence killer. I was just at a convention this last week. It was a national convention, and there was incredible speakers, and it was super inspiring and uplifting, and I was surrounded by great friends and colleagues and peers, and everything was great, but simultaneously something else was going on. Because when you're in that environment, it's very easy to play the comparison game. I don't know about you, but I know when I go to a conference, you wear your best clothes, you put on your best face, you're sharing the highlight reels of your life, all of the good stuff. If we were really honest with ourselves, that's what we do. And so what happens is we begin to compare ourselves to everybody else's situations. And I don't know about you, but I don't need a conference to compare myself. I can do that in my everyday life. I'm very competitive by nature. And so just because of that, I tend to compare my situation with somebody else's situation, or where I am at in my life with other people. And it can really mess you up in your emotions. It can mess you up in your confidence. And so that word to compare or comparison means to be like or to make equal. Like we're in this contest of everybody having to be equal with the same person at the same time in your lives. And how many know that's not realistic? And so nothing can kill your confidence faster than comparing yourself with someone else. It breeds insecurity, it breeds envy and jealousy, and it can even breed fear in your life that someone else is getting ahead. And so we're all susceptible to that, to those things. And even the prophet Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19 struggled with comparison. And this story is a great example of what comparison can do to us in our lives. And so Elijah in 1 Kings 19 is having like this massive ministry day, big day. He received a word from the Lord. He's walking in confidence and authority. He put the prophets of Baal to the test. And you've got to read the story in 1 Kings 19 if you haven't. It's so exciting. But he puts the prophets of Baal to the test. Who's greater, my God or the gods of Baal? And Elijah wins, of course, we know that. Elijah wins, and all the prophets of Baal are put to death. And then something happens. Jezebel enters the story. Now, Jezebel is the wife of King Ahab, and Jezebel is the one that got Israel to follow the gods of Baal in the first place. So she is ticked off. And so Jezebel sends a messenger. She doesn't even come herself. She sends a messenger to give a message to Elijah. And in the Bible, she says this: "May the gods deal with me severely if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like one of them." Basically, what she was saying is, Elijah, you are going down by this time tomorrow. You're going to be dead. And so what happens next in verse 3 is astounding to me. The Bible says that Elisha was afraid and he ran. Literally, those words from Jezebel sent him into a tailspin. He spiraled downward so fast. What happened? What happened to Elijah at the very word of Jezebel is just unbelievable. But what he did was he compared his authority to his perception of her authority. And he compared himself to somebody else. And it took him down. And the Bible says that he ended up in a cave all by himself. Now, when we compare ourselves, we may not end up in a physical cave like Elijah did, but we can end up in a mental and emotional cave of our own perception. Because when we compare ourselves to someone else, it closes us in. It gets our perception and our perspective in the wrong place. And we will go down. It will cause us to lose our confidence. So what can we learn from this? We know that when we get our eyes fixed on anything other than Jesus, we're going to struggle. Our perception's going to be off. If we're not having our eyes fixed on Jesus, we're going to be comparing ourselves to others. It's that simple. We have to stay connected to Jesus. We have to keep our eyes focused on Jesus is the big picture, and it keeps everything else in the right and proper place. When we get our eyes off of Jesus, everything else looks big and Jesus looks small. I want to encourage you today. Don't play the comparison game. Make sure that you keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, and you'll be successful in keeping your perspective and your perception in the right place. God bless you.